I don't know about you folks, but something I like to do at the end of the year is look back over the year and see what I got right, what I got wrong, and what I learned. And also, I want to take that and look ahead a little bit. We're going to do this with Dustin from Convoy Home Loans. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Let's do a little bit of self-reflection together. You just had your end of year meeting where you were looking at all the numbers and seeing what's going on. Uh, how did how did 23 turn out? I mean, what surprised you, of anything? The one thing I will say again, as somebody who talks to real estate investors, 2023 Q1 sucked. There's a lot of people losing a
Yeah.
lot of money in the flipping game. As we just talked about in episode number 1 today, we're starting to see a 4 handle on mortgage loans already, which I can't believe. That shocked me. But when you look back at 2023, what kind of stands out?
So 2023 going into 2023, everybody was obviously a little bit scared, and I'm speaking from people on
Mhm.
on the mortgage industry. On my side, it's only opinion I feel like I'm warranted to share on this channel right now. But going into 2023, we thought it was going to be pretty doom and gloom. We were just going to try and buckle down and
Yeah.
survive as much as we could. But what I saw, and this was you know like you said, a lot of people were struggling. We did a lot more refis out of hard money and a lot more bridge loans than I had anticipated, because our company, even though we did them in 2022 and 2021, it wasn't like a very big portion of our, you
Mm.
know, product base or pipeline. But that in a good and bad way, it was technically bad that I had to do so many of the
Mm.
refis out of hard money, because those were people that had to sell, or their
Yeah,
plans were to sell and they couldn't,
right.
right? Fix and flip. And I had to do a lot of bridge loans because they had to do essentially bridge to sales to buy them more times. So it was, give and take. It was good that we had a ability to, make and generate business that way. But it was, a little saddening to see firsthand that a lot of investors were in this position, and coming to us for that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the beginning of 2023 is very different than the end of 2023. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a dark cloud. I mean, specifically November, December, and January, where January of 23 were rough. And it something took off in May and April, or April and May. Right. It just kind of came back. And now we're ending the year with, a 4 handle on 30-year money, which I still can't believe. Um, it's just wild. So let's look ahead. Again, when I look ahead and I talk to, mortgage guys like yourself, the biggest question I have is, will the average mortgage rate, which I think ended yesterday at 6.6,
Yep.
will it go below 6% in 2024? What say you, Dustin? Do you think it goes below 6%?
A tough one. I've been, holding strong for the last 2 years that we are going to be coming a little bit slower than most people or the internet wants to believe, rates coming down. I thought we would stay here higher for longer. That's what I've been saying for the last 2 years, and I felt I've been right. But with the recent, month drop in rates, I wouldn't be surprised if it's below six. I don't hope it's below six. I'll say that now, even though that's better for my business. I hope we can just be maybe 6.1, 6.2, because I
Yeah.
firmly believe it has to be a gradual, like the Feds want applying to mortgage industry,
Yeah.
a slow, soft landing. Like it has to be.
I'm so glad you brought that up. And again, what I heard you say, and I believe as well, is if rates somehow slammed, Q2 down to 5.8, 5.7, that's not a net
Mm.
positive. You will do net new loans in the short term, but long term, it's probably not a great thing. So I'm kind of with you. I would have actually said the same numbers. My hope is 2024 we bottom out at like 6.1, 6.2.
Yeah.
Let's try not to have 10 basis point moves in a day. Hey, let's try not to do that. That's not
Yeah.
normal. Oh, that's crazy.
You're
Um,
talking about yesterday's 10 year.
yeah, just what the
Yeah.
hell?
Like,
10
can we
points
just
again.
slow
Yes.
down? Yeah. Like,
Stop it.
just, yeah.
Stop it. It's crazy. Um, yeah. So again, this is not something I've talked about with anybody else, but let's talk about refis. Um, I think refis have bottomed. I think that's pretty clear. I could see with rates, if we're right, kind of ticking down to 6.1, I can see refis up, I don't know, 30, 35% year on year. Again, coming from a very small number, obviously. But what do you think? If I picked over under of 35% year on year for refis, would you go up above or below that?
I'm probably going to go above just because of the simple human nature that we've
Mm,
kind of been in a period for basically a year and a half, 2 years now, where everyone's been, waiting for rates
yeah.
to drop. They've now seen it, or they're going to see it on the news outlets, and those are people that 8 to 6,
That's a big move.
8 to 6,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's and this is I could pull the numbers after or next week, but we had one of our title companies that we work with a lot. So Convoy's licensed in 16 states to do like conventional primary FHA stuff, right? We can
Yep.
do all 50 for non-QM and DSCR, but we had them pull just in the last year, those 16 states, some of the big states. We had like 1.6 million sales, so worth of data that we're going to try and comb through,
Hmm.
right? And the amount of people that were of that 1.6 above 7.25 was 87%. So
Wow. Net new
there is a lot,
transactions. Yeah.
yeah, over seven
Yeah.
and a quarter in the last year. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot
There you
of,
go.
yeah,
Yeah. Refis will go up 35%. So folks, if you have a 7.25 FHA, if you want to do VA Convoy Home Loans, it's there to help. That's awesome. So now when I look at real estate, we really got to break down new construction versus existing home sales. We'll talk new construction first. I think we'll end the year, we'll round it to a nice even number. We'll do 600,000 new home, new home sales.
okay.
Um, do you think that, I think it's fair to say that goes up next year, but do you think it goes up a bunch? Do you think it goes up a little? What are you thinking?
I don't think so because, well, we know that all of these builders have been changing the way that they've decided to make money in this industry, right?
Yeah.
Very clearly, pretty much a 180 from what they used to do. I don't believe the people behind these big builders are people on Wall Street, publicly traded companies. I think they're going to take a much more conservative approach going
Mm,
into 2024 before they start to
yeah.
unleash to the masses, and that's I think a smart thing for them to do because they don't want to be in that same position
Yeah.
that they
They don't
were
want
a
to be
year and a half
overextended.
ago. No,
Yeah, they don't wanna be extended. And then we go to existing home sales. I think when it's all said and done, again, rounding to a nice even number, I think we'll do about 4.2 million. We've already talked about rates trending down to about the low sixes. Do you think, do you think we do more than 4.2 total transactions, in existing home sales?
I'd say maybe a little bit higher,
Yeah,
possibly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's lower either.
yeah,
I still so uncertain about 2024 just because of my personal experience with the Feds and what they say is going to happen, and my personal experience of seeing the economy shake out the way market
yeah.
thinks it's going to shake out versus what the Feds think it's going to shake out. So,
Well, let's
you know,
talk about that because there is a huge disagreement between what the Fed is saying and the market. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently it was reported yesterday that the market now is calling for 7 rate cuts, not 5, not 6, 7 rate cuts in 2024. The Fed is
yeah.
still on 3. What say you? Where do you come in all these rate cuts in
I'm
2024?
hoping. Okay, I believe that there honestly is going to be 2 to 3. Okay,
Okay.
even though the Feds say 3, I don't think we're as a whole ready to have 3. I think we can pause for a little bit longer than we need to have rate cuts be done right now. Because if you look at how we're surviving right now at the current, federal fund rate, I
Mhm.
think that's a good baseline. 7, I think, is just going to make it like I can't really fathom 7 or 6
Yeah.
or 5.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
that's part of the market's job to have
Yeah.
some sort of hope and belief that allows traders to make
It's
money
it's
when
it's
others
funny
don't.
when I saw 7, my brain instantly went to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, I'm not sure I want to see where the economy's at if we have to have 7 rate cuts. I'm not sure I think I'll be cool with 3 or 4, but 7? Oi. Not good.
What do you think? How many rate cuts we get in
I'm
2024?
going to go 4.
You think four?
I'm going to go 4. And again, to be clear, I'd say 100 basis points, right? Might we get 3, meaning us 25, 25, 50? I
That's a
call it
better
100.
question.
Yeah, 100 basis points
You think we'll get 100 over the year?
over the year. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I'm
Yeah.
still in the 50 to 75
Yeah.
total, but
And I think 50, I mean, if we could go through next year with just a 50, I think that
I'd be
actually
stoked.
means, yeah, I'd be stoked. I mean, like, yeah, rates are like comfortable. We're used to it now. We're not getting these 10 basis point moves in a freaking 24-hour window. I'd be cool with that. I do think the Fed, I think, yeah, I think we're going to get 100. So, what are the closing thoughts, Dustin, as we wrap up 2023? If somebody wanted to reach out, see if they can get some 4% money or 5% or 6%, do a refi, where are we sending them? What are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, go to convoyhomeloans.com. Mention you came from ORAT. That way you can speak with John or myself. And just as a reminder, the four is for FHA owner occupied stuff, but we're still seeing a quick,
Yeah.
pitch here, 6.25 on DSCR. So rates are
Wow.
still ridiculously low.
Folks, if you got a deal, rerun the numbers. A lot of you are running numbers with 8% money. Most of you don't need to do 8% money anymore. Call up Convoy, talk to Dustin and or Jonathan, see what you could get. Buddy, thank you so much. Have a great New Year celebration.
You too. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, bud.